Hello, Mohammed. These are your Solex. They've been sitting for about 10 days. I like to let them sit and try to duplicate real world use. I have already pumped the priming lever on the fuel pump to make sure we have fuel up to the carburetors, and that's something that you need to do. Depends on how often you drive your car and how long it sits and your ambient temperatures and the quality of fuel that you get. I'm going to, it's cold start obviously, been sitting for 10 days. And then we will get, use this analyzer right there for tuning purposes. You don't need it, but I just want to demonstrate the tuning. Alright, now then, critical things: fuel, clean fuel, fresh fuel. Fresh fuel. So I can guarantee that if any fuel in your tank is rancid, and get it out, get your tank drained. Installation. Whenever you're dealing with the fuel inlets, you support this fuel fitting right here, and you do all your turning up here. If you don't, you take the chance of ripping threads out. Mounting the carburetors. These are great for mounting the carburetors. You don't need, didn't mean to do that. You don't need big tools. 1/4-inch drive is fine. You're not building the Eiffel Tower, so you don't need a whole great deal of torque. In terms of tuning the carburetors, the synchrometer, they're available online all day long, and they're the best tool. Right out of the box, fits right on there and measures the airflow for balancing. And what you want is the BK 1 through 35 kilograms per hour unit. That one right out of the box fits perfectly. Linkage, I will send you information on setting up the linkage. There are three. Also, when mounting the carburetors, put the carburetors, get them mounted, but leave them loose where these bolts are not tightened. And then put your airlock in place, and then snug down these bolts, pull the airlock off, do the rest of the tightening, and then put your airlock back on, just to double check that the airlock fits, because there's enough up and down movement in these carburetors that if you could tighten them down, it's possible the airlock would not fit, and then you have to go back in and undo all your work. The adjustments, let's take this off of the tripod, and the adjustments we're going to be dealing with are this one right here, which handles the idle speed. This is the idle mixture screw. There's two of them. This one it does nothing, so it's closed off and don't touch it. This one is what you get to adjust to tune the carburetors to your engine, and the other adjustment is down here. This little jam is like a set screw here, and this is what adjusts the movement of this second barrel butterfly relative to the first barrel. And what happens is when you floor the accelerator and chop the throttle, there's a pin right down here. This screw acts on the pin, which you can just barely see right there, and it artificially closes the second barrel. And you want just enough, you want less movement, so we're going to adjust this when they get going, and I'll have this adjusted for you, but you want just barely a little bit of movement, because if you screw down too tight, you can close this, and then as you screw down further, it starts to artificially open up your first barrel. So we want to avoid that. But those are the basic adjustments. Let's see, problem areas. Like I say, as I like to say, Solex carburetors are the reason fuel injection was invented, because these things will drive you crazy. So there's a check valve right here that could get clogged up with debris if you have stuff in your fuel tank. There's a check valve here, and that this is the fuel line of fuel, goes up here and comes out this discharge nozzle right there, and it's possible that a piece of grit could get in the discharge nozzle. It's easy to remedy. Just remove the flow pole cover and clean it out. These pre-atomizers, it's called. Stick the screwdriver in there. Okay, this guy right here, this is held in place by a jam nut and a set screw on the outside, and it's a remote possibility they could come loose. If they do, lots of fuel will get dumped in here, but it's real easy to fix. Just tighten up here's the jam nut right here that tightens up this guy right there. You can see the screw coming through. So these are easy to work on carburetors. Let's see what else. Make sure you don't have excess little slop in the linkage right here, the throttle cross shaft. Let's see what else I can talk about. The only time to tune these is when they are fully warmed up. You have a little bit of adjustment right here with this jam nut and set screw to adjust these levers in and out to where the choke cable lines up the best. And you want to make sure the choke cable is lubed up. And the problem with the choke cable, when you pull it on the dash, it's so hard to pull, is because it's pulling these chokes up like this in an arc, but the cable's going straight up, so you're pulling against the arc, and then you got your long cable. So make sure it's lubed up, and not kinked or inside the casing. So those are the basics. Let's see. Now let's get this thing started, and you'll have to learn how your car likes to start on the carburetors. I generally give them a couple of pumps of fuel, and then pull the choke. So we do a couple of pumps here. Switch on, pull the choke. Oh, let's see. Before we do that, the choke idle speed is controlled by a little teeny screw back here. And I will set for you, but the clearance between this and the lever it actuates is 15 thousandths, and that's what gives you your idle speed. For fast idle, you're not actually doing anything other than, I'll demonstrate here. When you operate your choke and that lever is set correctly, you notice that when I pull the choke, I'm pulling the throttle linkage. So it's as if you're just putting your foot on the gas at the same time you're choking the carburetor. So that's all that's doing. That's what gives you your fast idle, is just pulling that out, pulling your choke cable. Okay, so switch on. We've goosed it a couple of times. Let's see what we got. Not bad for sitting 10 days. And just feather your throttle. So you're going to be choking it as you drive off. And you can see we can accelerate here. Back up on the choke. And we are driving. So now we're going to warm it up for our final tuning. It's even cold, we got a nice idle. Idle should be between 700 and 1,000, depends on your mood. I've seen two factory specifications, 700 or 1,000, but anywhere in there is fine. So what we're going to do is warm it up. I would also recommend fresh spark plugs. Now you see why they put a drain tube on here. warmed up. Okay, we're warmed up. We always disconnect the linkage between the two carburetors so they're running independently of each other, so we don't have a linkage issue. Now then, let's see. Let's get our idler here set. All right, looking over here. All right, we're running about 500 RPM idle, which is amazing, but too low. That also gives us the ability to adjust our idle mixture screw. So for right now, we're going to disconnect our linkage. We're going to up the idle, and we're going to check our airflow so we're balanced. We're about 6, 7, 8 there, 7 there. So let's bounce it up a little bit. There we go. We're up to 600. Get some more. Now we're getting up to 700. Alright, there's 700. Now we're running 9 there. 10 there, so let's back off on this one. Back is still 10, 9 there, so let's back off a little bit here. There we go. Now we're checking our second barrels. They should be drawing very little air, almost no movement there. That one's not closing completely, and that has to do with the counterweight back here. So I'm going to move this counterweight, and you'll see a difference in the airflow. There we go. So that has to do with that pin back here. We're going to adjust that pin in just a minute. So if I hold my finger underneath here, well, hold this up here, and if I move this, do you hear that? That's too much movement, so we want to tighten that up. We can do that by our set screw and jam nut. We want to eliminate that play. Snap the linkage back in. We're going to check this side next. And we will eliminate the play there. Now then, once we've done that, we want to do our idle mixture screws. And you can see the difference. We're going to adjust these idle mixture screws right here. Move this around. Better view. Alright, so we're going to adjust the idle mixture screw, and you're going to hear the engine stumble. You screw it in until it stumbles, screw it out until it stumbles. You get your best idling speed. Hear the engine start to falter. And back it out. Picking up some RPM. But you don't want too far out. Too far out. Go back in. Now then, I'll show you using the RPMs here. Alright, so you're running about, okay, so you get that where it isn't vibrating. Remove the glare. Alright, run about 725. I'm going to start adjusting the idle mixture screw, and you'll see the difference as we drop the RPM. Just dropping RPM. Now we back it out until we get our best idle speed. There we go, picking up RPM. Alright, so we'll just leave it there and do the first barrel of the first carburetor. Alright, back it out. Now we're screwing it in. Now we're back. Now get our best idle. You're going to do this on your engine. Pick up more idle. Now what we're going to do is flip the throttle. See how much RPM we picked up by adjusting? Now we're going to blip the throttle. I put it on the high scale so I can blip the throttle and make sure we don't have any backfire and how it accelerates. Okay, now we picked up some RPM, 825. That means we can go back in and back off on our idle speed if we want to. And the airflow through the carburetors. So we can back off right here, for instance. Now that's at 9. Okay, what do we do? We're going to back this off. Quarter turn. Quarter turn. Running 8, 9 right there. 8 and 9 right there. We're at 775. We can come down a little bit. Now we're down to about 700. And running 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Now we'll put this back on. See what we got in the way of. Alright. Now we hot start. Got you a nice set of carburetors there, Mohammed. And they gave you instructions on how to tune them and adjust them to your engine. So I appreciate your time and your patience, and thank you for sending them to me.